For those that don't know, you should. This is Rise Up Cooperative, and you are here for a workshop on job readiness. And our presenter tonight is Dr. Jimmy Turner. And I'm going to turn it over to him in just a second. But I would like for everyone to turn on their cameras because we want to make sure that one, you're a real person. Two, that you are able to participate. You're able to answer questions and engage, and you can't do that if we can't see you. And so keep yourself muted so that we don't have distractions, but unmute yourself if you have a question or if Dr. Turner asks you a question. Other than that, we're ready for you, Dr. Turner. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. I am so glad to be here. Jobs. Wow. Why am I even here able to talk about this? So part of it is I run an organization and I have to do a lot of hiring. So I feel like I have some insight on what it is we're looking for when it comes to finding people. I've worked in a lot of different industries. So I hope that I can bring some of all of those industries together to give you some insight. Teenage years are the years when we get those first jobs. The first job that I had that paid me anything was mowing lawns. I went around the neighborhood. I took my lawnmower, I knocked on doors, and I said, "Hey, can I mow your lawn for $15?" And if they did it, cool, I got paid. And if not, oh well, move on to the next lawn. Eventually I had repeat customers. I knew I was going to them every week and was able to make a little bit of good money over the summer. But beyond what you might do as a lawn mowing entrepreneur, like I was able to do, there's other opportunities for you too, where you're going to go and work for somebody else. And that's what I'm going to focus on with you tonight. So when we start thinking about jobs, we need to talk about like what types of jobs are out there. What can I do? So anyone got, just off the top of your head, what types of jobs are out there?
Entrepreneur.
Entrepreneur. Yeah. Self-starter. Takes initiative. Who else?
Doctors.
Doctors. Yes. That's people who are helping others in need. That's great. What else? Somebody give me one more.
Part-time jobs like fast food restaurants.
Yeah, fast food, the food industry. That's a great type of job. So you've already got an idea of some industries and some specific jobs that you can do. I want you to think about it maybe a slight bit different. And let's think about a job type as a labor job. It's a job that's going to be physically demanding. It's going to be a lot of activity. You're going to work really hard, might require some extra strength to do a job like that. Can anybody think of a job that might fit that kind of a category?
Construction.
Construction. Thank you, from the Poindexter Cottage. I was going to outweight all of you if I had to. Yes, construction, people who are building stuff. They're carrying bricks and they're hauling wood and they're doing all sorts of stuff that's physical labor and very intensive. And that is great. Thank you so much for that. The service industry is another type of job. It's not just the service industry, but it's the job type. It's that type of job where you are in service to someone else. So it's customer service, it's technical service, it's helping people who are in need. So somebody mentioned doctor earlier. Give me another example of a service type of job?
Policeman.
Say again?
Police officer.
Police officer. Man, that is awesome. Talk about one of the ultimate services to your community. Thanks. That was great. What else?
Salesperson.
Salesperson. Yes. Because, I mean, how are you going to know what to buy if somebody's not there to tell you what you need, right? So yeah, these are all good examples of jobs. And something I want you to think about too is that it also can be jobs that aren't trying to make money off of other people. So there's an entire industry that we call the nonprofit sector, where we're not trying to do what we do to make money off people. We're trying to do what we do purely just to help people. That's the industry that I work in, and I love it because I'm not having to worry about making a profit or hitting that bottom line number. I depend on the generosity of the community, and whatever the community provides allows me to tell me what services I'm going to be able to provide the next year, the next week, the next month, based on being able to afford it. So service type jobs are something that are very fulfilling for a lot of people. So another type of job that we can talk about is going to be technical jobs or mechanical jobs. So who can give me an idea of something that might be technical or mechanical?
A mechanic.
A mechanic. Yeah, I kind of gave you the answer, didn't I?
An engineer.
An engineer. Yeah, that is great. So we're in that sort of industry, that idea where we're thinkers, we're people who are building and repairing, we're fixing stuff. We're software folks. We're the person who, we're not going to be the over the phone person that you call for tech support who says, well, turn it off and turn it on. Is it plugged in? And did you find the power button? The technical type of job is going to be the person who, hopefully, from what I hear, never has to talk to anybody. They just get to fix it. They get to turn it. They get to rebuild it and make it work again. And or they're creating it sort of brand new. So that's the opportunity that they have. Another type of job is something that I'm doing right now, not as a job, but because I just enjoy doing it. And that's a teaching type of job. So come on, this one's an easy one. Give me some easy examples of teaching type of jobs.
Teacher, professor.
Yes, teacher, professor.
Mentor.
People who do training. Say again?
A mentor.
A mentor, yes. That's great opportunities. Coaches, those are also people who have teaching type of jobs. So great example. Jobs where you are taking what you know and giving it to someone else and helping them to get better at it, know it better, master it, based on what you're able to provide them. So that's those teaching styles of jobs. And the last one, and I know that we could find a lot of other types of jobs, but I don't want to get too much into the technical stuff or stuff that is just going to be boring. So the last one though that I think we can highlight is going to be administration type jobs. Clerical work, secretary, human resources, executive people, the business office, the bookkeeper. So give me some examples of jobs that you think will fit with that. I was going to outweight you all. I promise I was, but then as I thought about it, I kind of gave you all the easy answers. So I'll take that one. I answered that one for you. and we won't spend too much more time on that. So we know a little bit about the kind of jobs that are out there, and everybody is fit for different kinds of jobs. Some of you are deep thinkers, and you're going to have cool ideas, and you're going to be able to say, this is what we need. You're going to find that out of the entrepreneurs that are out there, the people who are really leading others into something. You're going to have some of you are going to think about, I'm the person who can take that idea and make it real. That's your engineers, your builders, your people who are doing construction work. They're taking what an architect is thinking of, and they're making it into an actual building, a house, a structure that you can see. And then there's going to be those people who see those great ideas. They take what somebody has built and provided them, and then they put it to use. And then they find ways to improve it by actually using it. And they go, well, I tried it, and this is how it went well. This is where it needs some changes. And so those people are going to improve upon it. But then there's also some of you who are like, you know what? Work for me needs to be something that is just repetitive. It's something that I don't have to go in every day and rack my brain trying to figure out what it is. I just want to kind of go through a routine, do my thing, and go home and go fishing. And that's cool. And so that's going to be manufacturing. You're that builder, but you're doing it in a factory. You're pushing out those parts. You're creating that thing that needs to go out. And so that's cool too. All of these different ways that we go about our jobs are important. But as you start thinking about, what's my first job going to be? I am a teenager. I don't have great ideas that people are willing to listen to yet, maybe, or I'm not able to take somebody else's great idea and make it a thing yet, because all I got is like $17 left over from my allowance. And I'm saving that for when the movie theater reopens, you know? I mean, like, what can we do with what we have right now? Well, you might end up working in a grocery store. You might end up working in a fast food restaurant. Anybody here already working? Teenagers, that is. All right, Joseph, what are you doing?
I work at Baskin Robbins.
Sweet. Did you bring ice cream for us?
No.
Is it still 31 flavors?
Yep.
Outstanding. Do they ever change?
Yeah, they swap them out.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. Can you get one of them that's been swapped out? Like if it's not out there, is there like a secret hidden compartment where we can pull it back out?
If we have like leftover containers of it, probably. But
okay, good to know. I'll remember that next time I'm heading over to Baskin Robbins. Thanks for the insider information. Anybody else working a job? Nope. Okay. Anybody else working their parents' nerves? That's fun. That's a job, right? Okay. All right. Good job, Blake. Keep up the good work. When you're going to go get that job, there's some things that you're going to need to have with you that maybe you know already, maybe you don't. An ID. You're going to need some sort of ID. You're going to need your social security card, or to know your social security number. Maybe you weren't born in the US and you don't have a social security card. You've got other numbers that the government has that you're able to use to show an employer who you are. Birth certificate. If you don't know where those things are, then I would say this week, get with your parents, get with your foster families, get with somebody, that person who's helping you out, and say, hey, where are those things for when I need them? What is my social security number? If you don't have that memorized yet, start memorizing it. If you have an ID, memorize the number on your ID. So here's the test. I want everybody to tell me their social security number. Just kidding. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. your social security number is a very important piece of information for your identity. You do not share that unless it is on official documentation that you know it's okay to share. And if you're not sure if it's okay to share it there, ask your parent, ask your guardian, ask somebody that you can trust in your life if that's okay. Don't share it with me. Don't share it over Zoom, and don't let somebody you don't know convince you that it's okay to share it. That is a very important number for you. But thinking about it practically, you got an ID, you got a birth certificate, you got a social security card. What else are you going to need when you go to get that job?
Maybe a resume.
A resume, that's cool. Resumes are a good way to get noticed by your employer. So this is not going to be the resume writing or evaluation course, so I'm not going to dig too much into that. But yes, you're going to want to make sure that you have a resume. If you don't have one yet, it's okay. Don't fret it. A lot of times, you can get a job as a teenager without a resume. Joseph, did you need a resume? No. You probably filled out an application, right? Yes. So job application is going to be really easy. If you know your own name and can spell it right, you make it through the hardest part of the job application. Putting your name on there and spelling it correctly. It's going to ask you for your address. Know your address. And if you don't know it, look at your ID, because you're going to have that to get that job anyway, and your address will be there. But all that stuff is stuff that you'll learn, and you're going to be fine. So when you go to get the job, you're getting in there, you kind of know, I want to do service industry, I want to do this, or, hey, you know what? I just want to get a job so I can get a paycheck because my parents aren't giving me money anymore and they told me I have to work. Okay, so we're just going to hit the one ads and find everything we can. I said the one ads, I'm aging myself. We're going to go to Indeed, or we're going to go to LinkedIn, or we're going to go to Facebook jobs, or we're going to go to Instagram. They probably have job posts that get put up on there. We're going to, talk to our friends and go, hey, is your, place hiring? And we're going to go fill out the application. When you go to get the job, you're going to have to be interviewed. Now, don't worry, we're not going to get into all the interview stuff here because this isn't that class either. But the interview is just a chance for you to go and talk to the person about why you're a good fit for the job. Now, you don't go in there with any real job experience unless you've already got a job. So if you're Joseph, you're ahead of everybody else on the curve. The rest of you got to catch up. So you're going to go in there and you're going to go, I've never had a job before. I want to work. I want to work hard. I want to learn how to work hard. And if you don't get the first job, that's cool. Keep going back. Keep going to your interviews. You're going to get a job. It's a numbers game. So keep trying. It's okay if you don't get the first one. There's a lot of hot competition out there against you. So just the same way that you turned 16 and are eligible for a job, so did every other person in your 10th grade class in every other school in town. And so like in our area, we have like 80 schools, not 80 high schools, but I think we have like 27 high schools between private and public. So that's 27 schools with a whole lot of kids in 10th grade who all turned 16 the same year. There's a little competition. So getting that job is a numbers game. It's cool. Take your time. You're going to get there. One thing I will tell you about interviews, because I do it, is somebody might say, what's going to make you good for this job, or what's not going to make you good for this job? Know how to answer that. And it's okay if it's not, that you've got all this experience and knowledge to be able to do it. Being able to tell somebody that what's going to make me strong at this job is that I'm going to try really hard to be great at what I do. Okay, be honest. And if, you're going, what's my weakness? What's going to hold me back? It's okay to say, hey, you know what? The biggest thing that's going to hold me back is that I'm learning. And I need time to learn. And so I just ask that when you give me the chance, you also give me the time and the training that I need to learn it and learn it well, so that it doesn't have to be a weakness for me. So be honest with it. It doesn't have to be some really poetic, eloquent answer that, you know, is Oscar worthy on the movie set. Just be honest with them and think about it in advance before you get in there. What's going to help you to, well, you get the job. So now what? What happens after you get the job? I was going to just keep staring at Joseph since he's the only one with the job, but I need, you know, the other side is maybe I need somebody else to participate. But if y'all don't have jobs, I guess I don't really have anything I can pull out of you. But what's going to come after the job is training. They're going to show you how to do it. So don't expect that on day one, you're going to go in there and you're going to be the best ice cream scooper of all time, because you don't even know how to scoop ice cream yet. I promise the way you've been scooping it out of the freezer at your house is not the way that you're going to be scooping it when you get to work. They're going to tell you a certain way to do it, to get certain measurements and certain weights, because they've got to think about cost control and all sorts of other stuff that you don't really have to worry about when you're thinking about it at home. So it's cool. Hey, Tim, thanks for joining us. When you are looking at that job and you get that job, be willing to learn. That's what's going to make the big difference for you. There's no secret recipe to it. Just say, hey, I'm here to learn. I'm going to learn everything that I can. That's what comes next for you, is learning. You might have to learn people's names. You might have to learn certain processes. You might have to learn things that you already know, but you have to relearn it anyway because there's a different way to do it. And don't be offended if you start to do it the way that you've always done it at home, the way your mom taught you to do it, the way your guardians taught you to do it, the way your siblings taught you to do it, and they say that's wrong, because it might be wrong for how they need you to do it, even though it worked fine where you learned how to do it the other way. No one's trying to hurt your feelings or put anyone down in your life. They're just telling you that that's not the way it gets done there. And that's okay too. So be willing to do things different than you've ever done it, and be willing to just be flexible. That's okay. It's nice to be flexible. It allows you to fit in with a whole bunch of different people. And I imagine that if you're in a situation where you've moved around a bit and you've had a lot of change in your life, you're already learning how to do that. So just think of going into your job as another change where you have to learn to adapt to what you're moving into. And I think you're going to be fine. Something else to keep in mind is be on time. Be there. Get there on time. Now, on time doesn't actually mean on time. All right. This is where the secret sauce comes in. On time means you're there before you're supposed to be there. If your job starts, say at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that doesn't mean you get there at 4 o'clock, because then you're not starting when you're supposed to be starting. You're just walking in. Get there at 3:45, 3:50. Give yourself a few extra minutes in advance so that you're not walking in the door at the time you're supposed to be starting. You should be at the time clock, at the register, at your workstation, at start time, so that you're ready to work and you're giving the company the work that they're paying you for the hours that they're paying you to do it. If you are that person, I can tell you from experience, I have worked with thousands of people over my life. The people who stand out are the people who are at their station ready to work before it's time to start working. Those are the people who get promoted. Those are the people who get the biggest raises. Those are the people who get the nice big bonus check. Those are the people who have good jobs and good careers that last for a long time. Those are the people that other people admire. Those are the people who become leaders in their industries. So be that person. That one thing alone will set you apart from all of your peers. Get along. When you go to work, you're going to be working with different people who are different from you. They're going to look different. They're going to sound different. Some of them might even smell different. Good or bad, they just will. Figure out how to get along with them. You don't have to like them. You just have to get along with them. Anyone here like to watch movies? Has anyone here watched Mission Impossible? Yeah, a couple of you. Has any one of you watched more than one Mission Impossible movie? Okay. So for those of you who've watched multiple Mission Impossible movies, can you tell me, based on his acting, in which Mission Impossible Tom Cruise was dealing with a personal life crisis that involved his wife? Based on his acting, you can't tell because he's an actor. So it doesn't matter what's going on in his personal life. He goes to work and he does his job as best as he can because that's what he does. He acts like the person he's playing on screen, not like what has going on in his personal life. When you go to work, whether you're a bag person at the grocery store, an ice cream scooper at Baskin Robbins, or the cash register person at the Taco Bell, you're an actor. You are paid to act a certain way to whatever that company wants you to do. So when you go in there, act the way they need you to. You don't have to like the people you work with, but it makes it better if you do. But you get along by acting the way you need to act to get along. So when you get that job, when you find out what that thing is that's for you, be an actor. And if you will be an actor at your job, you will be successful when you do it well. Who you are outside of work is who you are. What you do at your job is not who you are. Your value is not in what you do to earn your paycheck. Your value is in who you are as a person. So go to work, be an actor. Who knows? Maybe your acting will get you on the big screen and you'll win lots of awards. And just make sure in your acceptance speech, you say, I remember this Zoom class I was in back during the pandemic, and he told me to be an actor, and here I am. And, or don't, just forget about me. That's fine too. Communication. You've got to be able to talk to people. So I've done a few things here tonight to draw out of you some answers. And thank you, all of you who have participated either by raising your hand or speaking to me with an answer or just listening to what I've had to say. I hope that I'm telling you things in a way that you can understand them, that make sense to you. And thank you for giving me answers in a way that made sense and could be understood. Your ability to communicate is important. And what you say and how you say it also matters. Think about it like this. If I said, hey, let's eat grandma. Or if I said, hey, let's eat grandma. What did the first one sound like I was saying?
Cannibalism.
Yes, cannibalism. It sounds like we were about to dine in on grandma. We don't want to do that. Grandma's a sweet lady, but she probably doesn't taste very good. But the second time, I said it as if we were telling grandma that it's time to eat. The way you say things, what you say will matter. Words have meaning. And think about that when you have that opportunity to be at work, and whether you're talking to your boss or your coworker or your customer, what you say and how you say it is going to be a big factor in how well you're able to keep that job that you've worked so hard to get. So learn how to communicate. always look for ways to improve. How can you do it better? So I'll be honest with you. I don't know how I can possibly improve my ice cream scoop, but I bet I could go to somebody who works at Baskin Robbins and find out. But I'm also a fan of ice cream sandwiches. I don't have to scoop them. I can unwrap them and just get right to it. So I'm okay with taking that approach to it as well. But when you get that job, figure out what can I do to do it better. And that doesn't mean that you won't reach a point where you go, I've become the expert. There is no one better than me. Cool. What do you not know how to do as the expert that nobody is better that you can learn to do better? Like say all that stuff I just said really fast, like 5 times in a row. No thanks. But figure out how you can do better. And then finally, just be honest. Now, I had a fun conversation this week with a sweet lady, and she said, well, I just say what I think. And I said, yeah, you do. And saying what you think is a good trait as long as you think about what you say. So it's okay to tell people what's on your mind, but it also goes back to that how we communicate things. Be honest. If you're struggling, tell somebody. Now, you don't have to tell them everything that's going on. You don't have to go to work and tell your boss that you got into a fight with your foster parents, or you got in trouble because you didn't clean your room, or you made a bad grade in school and you're upset. You don't have to tell them what the problem is, but it's okay to go in and say, I'm here and I'm going to do my job. I had something happen earlier today though, so I just might not be my normal personality while I'm here. People will appreciate that from you. People will try to pry in on it, and it's okay to say, I really don't want to talk about it if that's okay. And people, for the most part, will respect that. So be honest. And at the same time, if you come into work and you're normally kind of chill and relaxed and laid back, maybe you're, just the quiet person who sticks to themselves, and suddenly you're coming in and you're dancing and you're singing and you're just smiling, and people are like, what is wrong with you? Well, you got asked out to prom, you had your first kiss. No, you don't do that yet. You made an A, you got accepted into college. Whatever that thing is, you're just happy. And you can say, you know what? I had something awesome happen and I just am celebrating all the time. But it's okay. I'll do my job. I'll be professional. But you know what? I'm just in a good mood today. And that's okay. Be in that good mood. Be happy. Celebrate life. Look for every opportunity that you have in your job, looking for your job, maintaining that job, to just be happy with it. Because I promise you there's going to be enough stuff that comes up in the world and your life that will dampen that happiness, that you should make it a point to always find that opportunity to really get in there and just be happy. So I don't want to bore you with a whole bunch more stuff on job readiness. Thank you so much for being here. Y'all have been great. Thank you for participating with me. Who has questions? I want to help you. Anything about a job. I've done it all. I've worked in construction. I've worked in food. I've worked in law enforcement and the military. I work in the nonprofit sector now. I've done teaching. So I've kind of hit all the stuff that we've talked about. So tell me, what questions do you have about jobs that maybe I can answer for you?
Like, what is the best trade to do? Like trade school?
The best trade school. Man, that is such a great question. So let me ask you a question to better answer that. When you say the best, do you mean the best paying, the best job schedule, the best chance to travel? Like, what's going to make it the best for you?
I guess like rewarding wise, like I guess the money, but like some of that, like I like robotics and technology and stuff like that. Like I'm more of a hands-on person. So like what would, like I know, like I was thinking about electrician or like welding and stuff like that.
Yeah, so those are all great. The trade school that is going to be best is the one where you find the most fulfillment. If you don't want to get dirty, don't go into plumbing. Maybe avoid carpentry. A lot of sawdust that comes with that. Electricians. I was an electrician for a little bit. That was a fun trade school to go to if you're okay with math. Believe it or not, electricians deal with a lot of math. If you like math, or even if you don't like it, but you can handle it, you're good at it. Being an electrician is a great trade. It's good work. It's hard work. You're going to do a lot of physical labor. You're going to make great money at it. You've got a career that will continue for the rest of your life, because we've got electricity, and more things are moving to electric power, like cars. So there's going to be a greater demand for people who can deal with electricity going forward. You talked about robotics. Well, obviously, getting involved in a trade of software or engineering are going to be good opportunities for you there too. Whether you want to be programming the robotics or designing the robotics, there's a lot of good opportunity for you. Also, you might look into machinery. Being a machinist is something that people in robotics are going to need, because they need somebody to fabricate those parts. And being a machinist is really good if you're somebody who likes to get down into the fine details. So when you think about measuring something, you might think about it as an inch or a foot or, a yard. Machinists, they operate in tiny, tiny measurements. A hair on your arm is about 0.03 inches. And a machinist has a tolerance, which means that they can be an error of 0.01 inches. So if you really like details, maybe that's the trade school for you. Thanks so much for that question. Did I answer at least helpfully?
Yeah.
Great. Who else has a question?
I have one.
Okay.
Unless someone else does. Did I hear something? No? Okay. So like a lot of these people have said, they haven't had a job yet. And you mentioned a couple in the very beginning that you had when you were about their age. What would be a good first job for them to seek out right now in their age in their lives?
My first job working for a company was Taco Bell, and working in fast food, it taught me a lot of lessons about hard work, people, cash, and how to keep up with that. A little bit of technology, food safety. And I feel like getting involved in something like that, whether it be fast food specifically, or restaurant work, or grocery store work, I think is some of the best first jobs for people to have, because you learn so much out of it. It's not about the trade skill that you learn from it as much as the life lessons you're going to learn from it. You go into a grocery store, you're going to learn all sorts of stuff about food that you never knew was important to know. You go into working in a restaurant in the food industry, and you're going to learn things about temperatures and cooking that you never knew that the people who were cooking for you had to think about all the time. You're going to learn about interacting with people and dealing with happy customers and irate customers, and how to really manage emotional intelligence with people in ways that you just don't quite get at home at this age. So it's going to be a great chance for you to really grow up and mature a lot in a real short period of time. What do you think about that answer, Joseph? Yeah, I got a head nod. Outstanding. Did that answer your question? Great. Who else has a question?
I mean, I have another one.
Okay.
So, do you know anything about the military?
I do know something about the military. What do you want to know?
So like my sister, she did Master of Arms, which I guess is like police officer in the military. But like what do you think what do you think the best like hands-on things in the military would be for like the branch of the Army?
Wow, that's a great question. The Army has hundreds of job opportunities for you. I was in the Marine Corps, so I know that we have a lot of the same jobs. So I'm going to be able to talk to you from a Marine Corps perspective. And I know we have a lot of the same jobs because I did some of my job training on Army bases with soldiers. So I know there was a lot of crossover there. So when we're talking about hands-on, I assume that we're still talking about tradecraft. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Okay. So in the military, all the same sort of trade schools that you might find in your hometown are available to you. Electrician, engineering, electrical engineering, welding, machining, optics, carpentry, uh, bridge building. All of those things are jobs that are in the military. So they're all available to you. And the cool thing about it is when you get that job training in the military, you get immediate hands-on experience with it. When you get job training in a civilian trade school, you might spend a lot more time in the classroom than you are getting it in real world applications. In the military, you're going to get to put it into a real world use right away. So whichever one you go with is going to be great. When I was in the Marine Corps, I was in the infantry, and part of being in the infantry meant that I had to learn how to really know my weapons. So talking about hands-on stuff, armorers, they know how to break down and reassemble all of the different weapons that we have, and they have a really good awareness of that. And then I went on and I got a second specialty as a machinist because I was in an armored reconnaissance unit. We needed people who could work with the parts that we had and maybe fabricate things out while we were out in the field or just do some basic repairs. So I got to learn how to use a lathe and a milling machine and a drill press and all sorts of cool stuff that we needed to be out in the field and have a part break off of a vehicle. And I could go grab a chunk of metal and go use my machines and remake that part right there and stick it right back on that vehicle. And we were good to go again. So a lot of good opportunities there. And the Army, they got tons of money. So they like to give sign-on bonuses. So, if you want to make a few bucks, that's a good way to go. Now, of course, I'm always a fan of the Marine Corps first, but that's because that's where my loyalties lie. But you go to the branch of service that you feel like is best for you. Is there anything else in that area that maybe I didn't hit on for you?
So do you know what the Young Marines is?
I'm familiar with Young Marines, yes.
So I went through that. We went through a boot camp in Parris Island, and while we were there, we saw a bunch of we went and saw a bunch of the different things that was going on, bombers and stuff like that.
So you broke up on me a bit there. I heard you say that you went to Parris Island, you went to the boot camp, and you got to see a bunch of the things that were going on there. I don't know that I heard what the question was, though.
Oh, I said I saw people working on jet engines and stuff like that.
Yes,
and interest me.
Yeah. Mechanics, diesel mechanics. The cool thing about being a diesel mechanic is you can use that in a big rig truck or you can use it in a jet engine because they run off of a form of diesel in the jet fuel. So you get a lot of good opportunity as a diesel mechanic to learn stuff. So yes, going into the military, you can work on vehicles, you can work on engines, you can do body work when it comes to those sort of things. So yes, you do have a lot of opportunities to work with those mechanical and technical fields that will take you pretty far in that. So that's a good thing to pursue. And I know that at another Rise Up course, we had a connection with the military recruiters, and I know that we're planning to do another one of those. So I would encourage you to come back for that one, because I think you'll be able to learn a lot more there than probably what I'm going to be able to answer for you here.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks for your questions. That's been great. Who else has a question?
About work or something? What is the best paying job for teens?
Best paying job for teens. Wow. That's a great question. I spent a little bit. So obviously, you know, when I worked at Taco Bell, that was minimum wage. Back then, minimum wage was like $5 an hour or $4 an hour. I can't remember. What was minimum wage when we were kids, Sandy? I don't remember anymore.
I didn't work then. I don't know.
Oh gosh. My goodness. You know, some people just have it made in life, I guess. No, I'm just kidding. So good paying jobs as teenagers are the jobs that you're willing to work. That's what it's really going to come down to. Most employers are going to hire you, you know, around minimum wage, maybe a few dollars above that. But you know, you might get $9-10 an hour. So think about that. But also the hourly pay doesn't matter if they're only giving you 3 hours a week. So they might pay you more and then work you fewer hours, as opposed to somebody who's going to pay you less hourly, but they're going to let you work a lot more. So you're going to make more money that way. Looking at fast food, grocery stores, you know, coffee shops, that sort of a thing. If you get a job that'll pay tips, you have opportunity to make a little bit more money, probably, especially like doing some delivery stuff. Maybe you're doing pizza delivery or something like that. I know I had friends in high school who were able to do that. You're going to make a little more, but you're also going to put a little more wear and tear on your car. So you might not, it might not balance out too much, but just explore it a little bit. And I think you'll probably find something that works out well for you.
Thanks.
You got it. All right. Who else has a question? Are we going to get a question from the Poindexter Cottage there? That's a party going on over there. All right. Well, it seems like we've got all the questions out of the way. So, Sandy, I guess it's your show again.
All right. I would like to add a little bit to that last question that Dr. Turner got and answered, and he did a fantastic job answering it. Thank you. I wanted to add things like babysitting, mowing the lawn, doing little on and end jobs for family members, for neighbors, for people that you know, are great ways to make some really good money at y'all's ages too. And that's actually what I did. Was I did babysit, so I didn't officially work, but I did some stuff. So those don't count or rule those out either, because those are always a potential if you have somebody in your life that you could hit up for one of those. But anyway, that if there are no more questions, we're going to go ahead and end just a couple minutes early. Thank you so much, Dr. Turner, for that. I think that it was great. It was very educational and informative, and I hope that all of you guys got something, even if it was something small. I hope that you got something out of it. Next week, we're going to have three gentlemen who are starting an organization called Shepherds of Men, and they're going to come and talk to you guys about attitude and how attitude matters, and attitude's everything. So mindset, basically. And later, Dr. Turner had mentioned resume writing. Later in April, we're going to have a resume writing workshop. So if you've got that on your mind, you're going to have to write those for college applications, for your job applications as you get more into the career type field versus the retail or the food industry. So, I mean, you still might need it for some of those, but so you're going to need these skills. So make sure you check us back out and try to attend one of those workshops. Thank you all for being here tonight. Have a wonderful evening. I'm going to go ahead and end it. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Turner.